Hello, welcome back. Today I wanted to make a video about what I felt was important in regards to knowing, reaffirming if you already know, um, give it food for thought when you are detaching yourself from toxic people and toxic environments. A lot of times when we do this, we're not just letting go of just one entity, one person. There's usually a lot of things that are wrapped up in the scenario itself. So, a lot of things can happen to us as individuals in regards to what we consider ourselves to become, what we're becoming, what we're healing from. So we're in a very confusing place, and I just wanted to kind of read some things to you that I felt were very important to know. I thought were important. The core issue is not becoming what you pass for, but it's also about losing what you pass away from. So when we're ready to move away from these toxic environments, we know that we're going to be losing a part of ourselves, right? And I'm sure that if you're watching my video, somewhere along the line you've came across something that says you have to mourn what you were, the person you were. And it's very true. And I think the ideology of mourning that person is very helpful because it allows you to not attach to bad decisions that were made when you were under pressure that kept you operating at a level that wasn't your normal conditioning or what you would agree to morally, right? Stop conditioning yourself to believe that who you still are around these people is an actual part of you, when in actuality it's not. I personally can relate to that because I made such big changes that anytime I find myself around someone that knew me from that level, I kind of felt like I had to revert back to that Michelle, same Michelle that I didn't want to be anymore. So for me, I totally understand that. I know that when I'm around them, it's easy for me to tap into that person because we've all been that person around these people. But just because we're able to tap into it very quickly doesn't mean that it's healthy or the best decision for us. It means that it's something that is wired within us to have us react very quickly to that, right? So when we're changing our behaviors, these are the things that we have to notice. These are those things that underlying just keep us operating at in like a I always say like a hamster wheel or a merry-go-round. It's a never-ending cycle. I think this is also really important where I'm going to mention outside influences and how they hold a false expectation for us. And this is that same reasoning. People who knew you before you decided to make your life changes may now hold these false expectations up on you because of how you were. They're expecting you to be the same type of person. And if they're toxic people, it's going to cause a problem. And then I put so many people hold expectations on others because they themselves haven't looked within. If they had, they would know that expectations are a fallacy. And I know I've mentioned in many of my videos that you can't really expect someone to meet you at a level that they haven't met themselves at yet. And it's okay to know that you're in a different space from them. And it's not saying that you're better than them. It's not putting yourself on a pedestal and looking down on them. It's just knowing that everybody has their own journey. Everybody's on their own path. And everybody's going to find out things on their own timing. I also wanted to discuss about how when you're making these changes, you have to make space for this new you that you're becoming. And it's very hard because you're in a state of healing and you're in a state of awareness of what exactly you're caught up in, what exactly you have to get yourself away from. So let's just say from here, if you resonate with this, be very proud of yourself because even though you don't think you have it figured out, the fact that you are at this very moment where you are and you're trying to understand how to remove yourself from toxic environments, toxic people, that means that you're focusing on yourself. So I give you a round of applause. A lot of times, most of the times, when we find ourselves in these situations, it's because we haven't put ourselves first. So it's a wonderful thing. And I just want to acknowledge anybody who's made it to that point. It is a big deal. It's a turning point for your journey moving forward. So I just wrote a quick note, making space for who you were, your authentic soul that has been lying under your hurt, under your trauma. That's what essentially your goal is. You're trying to find that inner you, the one that told you this is fucked up. This is not normal. This, you can't live like this. You deserve better. That's not like this random voice that you hear. It's yourself. It's your inner self, your authentic self, your soul telling you. And I know I mentioned before, these Instagram memes or Pinterest, whatever it is you're on, you'll find plenty of memes that say things just like this. You know, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Things along those natures, because it's true. And I also want to mention that coming out from this, and I think I'm going to wind up making a video about it because there's just a lot to it, but I'll briefly touch on it. I noticed that within my own life experience, I had to give myself goals, you know, because everything was new. Obviously, I needed to have goals. I needed to have an intention on where my life was heading, even though I wasn't 100% sure. There had to be that intention out there for something, right? And I realized that in this stage of survival, I gave myself very easy tasks, very realistic goals, almost goals that really didn't suffice for what I probably should have strived for. But you know, everything happens in waves. Everything happens for a reason at the times that they happen. So I like to think. But the reason why I'm saying this is that when I first started making the changes that I did, it took me a while, but I realized that I needed to like level up my goals. And I just want to point that out. I'm so thankful that I noticed it when I did, because I was starting to become more stressed out, found myself being down more, just felt like I was kind of losing this race. And I had to look within again at that point in my life, you know, reevaluate everything, reevaluate who's around me, my job, all these elements in my day-to-day life, and really examine those, make sure that there's nothing that's going on externally that's triggering things within me. And then if they are, now it's diving back into myself, right? And saying, okay, I recognize this trigger. You know, this is a trigger. Why is this happening to me? What's causing this within me? Why do I feel threatened? Why do I feel scared? Why do I, you know, all these negative words? Because at the end of the day, when we feed into any low vibrational energy, it's attached to one of those words: fear, anger, defensiveness. We could go on and on with the words. Had I not, I think, realized at that very moment, I don't know how long I would have stayed stuck. And when we leave these type of toxic relationships, we're lost. We kind of don't know what to do, who we are, where we're going. You know, it's a very confusing time. So, and we've already, I hate to say the word settle, but we've already settled with dysfunction in the past. So that's already laid its platform within us in this cycle that we're trying to break. And if things aren't of our best interest, it could be easy for someone coming out of a toxic situation to say, okay, well, I could deal with it. I could deal with this for now. You know, I've been through worse. You know, this isn't my first rodeo down this road, or, you know, something along those lines. When in actuality, it's probably something we shouldn't tolerate, period. It doesn't matter if we've tolerated harder things before. So I just wanted to make a note of that. If it's something that you just kind of tuck into the back of your head, and maybe one day a light bulb will go off and you'll say, oh shoot, wait a minute, am I living off of survival right now, or have I still planted my seeds of what I want out of my life, or am I just in a different rabbit hole? Am I in a different hamster wheel? It looks different, the colors are different, it's in a different area, the weather could be different, but if you're still doing this, you're still doing this. So yeah, I relate. I recognize that within myself. So that's the only reason why I'm mentioning it. And I felt like it was a big deal to me, because at that time it inspired me. It ignited this thing within me where I looked around me and said, shit, you know what? I've come a long way. I'm not going to beat myself up for not being in the best position, but I'm in a hell of a lot better of a position than I probably thought I would have been a year ago. Like, looking back, if you told me a year from now that I'd be who I am now, I'd go like, oh, okay, if you say so, you know. But in my mind, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going on. Like, I got a hard life right now. So, you know, always remind yourself how far you've come as well, because I'm a big advocate of that. I always give myself reaffirmations for that reason, because I went for so long not doing that, not understanding, not internalizing that. So, you know, my reprogramming requires me to do that. So, you know, also make sure you know what your reprogramming looks like and what that means and what the details of your own reprogramming could be. Okay, so I'm going to end it here, but thank you for watching. I appreciate. Please like, share, comment. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers, so it would greatly help me, and I appreciate if you would do that for me. I'm sending you a lot of light and love, and I hope that something I said could have helped you in any way. If you have any questions about anything, please comment below, and I will make sure to get back to you. Thank you. Bye.